mean, can you give us the kind of the elevator pitch of who Jenkins the Valet is and why you invented him, or not invented him, but why you filled him with so much meaning and brand equity?
Tally Labs has grown to be like so much more than Jenkins the Valet. And it's crazy. I know we're going to spend like obviously a lot of time talking about like all of the different things that we work on at Tally Labs and our team and those types of things. And it's still like it's sort of unbelievable like that Jenkins the Valet became this thing. When we were sort of exploring the space, we were really fortunate to be exploring it with Bored Apes in the early days. And so Safa, who sort of always has been on the cutting edge of stuff, he already had a Bored Ape. He had sort of encouraged me to look into the community. I was blown away. It was like incredible how much creativity was like already like exploding within those early Bored Ape Yacht Club members. Everyone was doing something, it seemed, with their apes. And so I went looking for a Bored Ape that I could purchase on the secondary. It probably was looking like maybe 3 weeks after the Bored Ape primary sale. And I found this ape that looked like a Valet. It's Ape 1798. He's a floor ape. There's nothing special about Ape 1798, but he really looks like a character because he's got the matching work vest and hat. And Saf and I just wanted to, exercise some creativity, and we wanted to contribute to the space, and we wanted to be one of those people doing something with their Bored Apes. We were really inspired by like what others were doing. And so the night that I purchased Ape 1798, he looked like a Valet, like I mentioned. So we named him Jenkins, which is just like the most basic Valet name that I think, we could think of. And it's really funny to look back on some of our characters today because it shows like how playful we were back then. You have Jenkins the Valet. You have the mutant version of him is just Jenkins the Mutant. And then his dog, right, is just named Good Boy. Like, it's literally what's the first name that comes to your mind? That's the name. Okay, we roll with it. And it's I think the playful nature of like those early days is is a really important part of like our brand even today. And so I used the creative writing background that I had and started writing content as Jenkins the Valet, and we were posting it onto Twitter. And I think the first day that we posted a story, the Jenkins the Valet account had about 30 followers. But that first Jenkins story, like, sort of went like viral. I mean, as far as like, for us at the time, like it maybe had 60,000 impressions or something. And the follower count, might have 10x'd or something like that. And it was shocking, like how going from 30 to 300 followers isn't much, but at the time it was like, oh wow, like we're doing something that is resonating with people. And so Saf and I looked at each other and we were like, all right, this creating content and doing character building on top of NFT avatars seems to be something that people are really engaged with. And so the next day we posted a form, like a survey, basically asking other people to write in and tell us about their own Bored Ape avatars. The idea was that Jenkins, as the Valet, had seen things and he'd heard things and he'd always practiced discretion. And if you liked what we had written about our own Bored Ape, we could use the Jenkins character to write content about your avatar too. And we weren't sure how that would go, right? The whole thing was like really low stakes. And that form did really well too. I mean, eventually like hundreds of Bored Apes had written in, telling us about their characters, how they viewed them, what they thought their role was. Some was really clearly pulled in from people's like real life experiences. Others were like totally like fantastical. And from there, we just continued to write stories about other Bored Apes through the lens of Jenkins. And I'll pass it to Safa because, time went on and we looked at each other and we realized that Jenkins, the character, had built this really interesting brand. We were doing something that people really cared about. And we had a bit of an idea for how we could scale it beyond just staying as like folks writing content on Twitter.
The highs are significantly higher and the lows are significantly lower. You get celebrated for things that you do, more than you would in another environment. And then you also kind of get torn apart. And so Obviously, it's what we signed up for, though, and I think it's something that we're really excited about.